Great morning, boys and girls, friends and family. How's everyone doing? Cameron, hello, hello. Everyone's saying welcome. Greg says morning greatness. Oh, it is a great morning. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. So much goodness happening here today. Hope you're all ready for it. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot coming. There's a lot here. Why am I saying great morning? That's kind of weird. It's different, strange. It's because I didn't come all this way for good. I only take great steps towards great accomplishments. And while I stand on a great podium, I surround myself with great people who push and propel me into further greatness. I no longer do good. Type in a 4 if you want good out of your life, but you want great all the ways. Yeah. Start speaking it, boys and girls. That's all I got to say. Your words become the world that you live in. You get to choose. Is this world a great world? Is it a good world? Are your finances good or are they great? Are your relationships good or are they great? All things to think through. Let's go ahead and dive in and continue our fantastic all access pass into the open house week. I'm gonna get my screen sharing turned on. And for those who are watching on YouTube, I'll be going a full hour today personally. So stick around for the next 58 minutes. If you're here watching live, let's continue to interact and engage and just ask any questions that you have. I'll be doing exactly what I did yesterday, which is going through my day trade list. I'm going to look to see and try to track down a gap that I like a lot and focus primarily on that gap. But we will be keeping a very close eye on the markets and just kind of seeing what's happening and just looking through everything and just kind of talking through what we get to accomplish. So first and foremost, on the SPY, I shared with you all yesterday my little conspiracy theory, and we are gapping down slightly. I'm certainly not saying this is the top, although it could be a portion of it. This is a relatively cute bearish gap out there today. Now, the broader markets have been so strong. There's been a lot of power bullishly. What we will want to do, I think, and I believe, is make sure that we just know where the 100 on the weekly. So this is the adjusted for dividends chart. If you turn the adjusted for dividends chart off, you'll notice we have a really cute resistance right here. So again, this is on the SPY. I don't really know which chart is more powerful, the adjusted for dividends or the non-adjusted for dividends. So if something pays a dividend or a yield, I simply use both. Why not? Just takes one button to click on anyway. Pretty easy. All right. And then here on the daily chart, I'm going to draw another purple line because we do have a lot of resistance where we are at on the SPY. So there's going to be some chop. There's going to be some slowdown. There's going to be some sideways action here. And of course, we can go higher, but this could also be the little top where we start getting some selling. Type in a 5 if you remember my little conspiracy from yesterday. Talked about it pretty early on. And that conspiracy is, as of right now, kind of proving that it might be pretty close to accurate as far as at least some selling opportunities are coming in, most likely. So we'll see. Here on the Qs, I do have some puts on the Qs. And as of right now, again, I had to short everything at all threes, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Again, we may or may not get there, probably won't, but it does look like presently that we're opening right now below the low of yesterday, which is, again, slightly bearish. So from my perspective, the 100 simple will act as a little bit of a resistance. So this open, right, we can trade back up and then have a little bit of weakness, but overall, this is a gap and go. There are some bears coming in, and there is certainly some weakness. It could be an hour of weakness, and then we just rip higher. It's perfectly understandable. But again, we have had an equal bullish move up. We are at some strong resistance. The fundamental news really isn't powerful at any point in time. And it's at a very, very interesting level that we're at. So we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll see. Even if we make one good trade and we win small, that would be absolutely enough for the day. Keep in mind, you don't have to make money every day to make money every month. I will show you the schedule for today. And you can do this regardless if you're a subscriber to RLT or not. You can always go and just see what the schedule looks like for you. And for $275 a month, you get access to anything and all of it. So here's what we have for today. I'm going to go from 9 to 10 Eastern. And then Dan Jansen's going to come on from 10 to 11. And then your boy Johnny Guarco from 11 to 2 at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central. We're going to be going over cryptocurrencies hosted by Yates Craig. And then trading mindset and long-term investing by Thomas Wong at 2:30 to 4 p.m. today. Really excited about that because Thomas is extremely wealthy, both financially, mentally, relationally. He has all the things that people want, need, crave, and desire. So excited for that. I'm really excited about everything in this lineup all the time, every day. And then right after that presentation, you have the afternoon swing trading room from 4 to 5 Central, 5 to 6 Eastern, which is me. There you go. That's the schedule for today. All right, let's hop in and talk through some of these stocks. I'm going to remove Boeing from our list. It was the special one that made it yesterday. We're going to go look at a few other gaps. But before then, what I'm going to do is just scroll down and see what stocks are opening above the high of yesterday or below the low of yesterday, because that will create momentum. Simply put, easy as that. Doug says, join real life trading. That is your path to greatness. I appreciate it, man. It is absolutely a path. It is a step. I totally agree. You're surrounded by great people. You will get great things out of it. So here's Tesla. And what we'll notice is Tesla did interact with a specific moving average yesterday. I'm really excited to walk through this perspective that we played on Tesla yesterday. The analysis worked out extremely well. Typing in 9 if you remember us losing on our bullish trade on Tesla. And again, I'm not hiding this. I could easily just shove that under the couch and just sweep it under the rug and like, oh, it never happened. No, I'm sharing with you all that we all lost money together playing Tesla bullish. It did not work, this particular trade. It was a little too high. And then we went bearish below this candle here, made a little bit of a gain, came down, came back down. So this is when Johnny Guarco was taking the microphone right around here. And notice how well we interacted with and failed that 200 simple moving average. This is where Peggy went short, right off the 200 simple with a stop loss of there. Trade came into the 200 and ended up rolling over. If we zoom in, what you'll notice, and this was around 11 o'clock, this was a very, very nice short. If we start zooming in here, did you, ladies and gentlemen, get some bullish candles closing below the red line, which would have given you an opportunity to short Tesla, not only below the low of those bullish candles, but also after it has interacted with and failed the 200 simple on the daily? Type in a yes if you're like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Using multiple time frames, piecing the puzzle together. We lost on one trade and then won nicely on this trade for a net positive on the day. When we lose 0.7 to 0.8 risk units. And when we win, we try to win somewhere around 1.2. Let me share that math with you. Let's do that math on 50 trades a month, which is about 2 trades a day, give or take. Approximately, right? 50 trades a month. If you are a 50-50 trader, okay, you're a coin flip like Tony was talking about yesterday. You lose 25 times and your average loss is let's just say 0.8. And you win. And when you win 25 times, you win 1.2. So you're a 50-50 trader. And the only thing you do is lose less than an R And when you win, on average, you win more than your risk unit, this being the number that you focus on, especially for day trading. If you do that, that net spread, that 0.4 net spread times 25 trades is, ready for this, 10 risk units a month. 10. And the key, ladies and gentlemen, beautifully and easily put, is simply lose small and don't go for home runs. Just start chipping away. Once you start chipping away, building that house of profits, you're able to just continue to repeat that process, because 10 R's, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of money. That is a substantial living for most of the people here on this webinar or watching our YouTube live stream, because not only is it a substantial amount of money, but just keep in mind that RLT does provide for you, for only $2,000, access to an additional $200,000 to trade with. All you have to do is make a 10% return on that $200,000. And then it's a 75-25 split. I mean, have you done the math? What's 10 R's on a $200,000 account? That's $20,000 a month. And you keep 75% of that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's substantial. Right? That's $15,000 a month, and that's paid out as a 1099. Type in a 4 if that's pretty cool. Because again, allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to say, what if? If you never even think about what's possible, you definitely won't get it. Begin to just plan, like, why not? Why not me? What if you just come up with some really strict rules and you follow those really strict rules? I mean, what if the only thing you did was the 10 EMA strategy on Tesla? What if that was the only trade? That was all you did? You would have taken 7 trades yesterday, and you would have been up approximately 6 R's. That's all you did yesterday on just one stock. Not bad. So here's what we have. Is Tesla opening below the low of yesterday? And the answer is, right now, it is. Right? Thomas says, consult your CPA, but that last bit paid out as a 1099 could be pretty attractive for the right person. I do have to agree with my boy Thomas's statement on that one. It can be pretty cool. So the answer is yes, we are opening below the low of yesterday. I will turn on the extended hours just to see what they look like, to see if there's anything super intriguing going on. And we're going to draw some support resistance just like we did yesterday. Now, what I'm going to do is, since we're looking at this 15-minute chart, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to take the support from yesterday and just kind of drag it over, because it was already on the screen. I'm going to take the pre-market low I drew in yesterday and just kind of drag it over. So we're going to have a support zone that we're battling, and pre-market resistance today is right here. I'm going to draw that over. And so we are presently right now working on opening below the low of yesterday. So could we come up with a plan? I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying, like, what if? Could we come up with a plan that if Tesla breaks this support, we let it retest, we wait for a bull candle to close below the 10 EMA, and then we potentially short it if it rolls over and make some money? Can we go ahead and create that plan now ahead of time? What? Sure you can. You could. In fact, this is it. This is a great plan. And then, of course, realizing that here is some pre-market resistance, right? We have it drawn. This is just the high of the pre-market. Looking at this on the 15-minute chart. So if I'm analyzing this, my thought process is, well, if we trade up into here and we get a little bit of a rollover, we might be able to short a trade. If we trade up into here, that's the 200 simple on the daily, and we get a rollover, we could play it bearish. And if in some of those situations we get a nice little bull setup, then we can play it bullish. We're just going to keep an eye on it and see what happens. But there's a great support down here that we have no problem going long at if we don't break lower. So we have our lines, we have our prices, we have everything drawn out for Tesla. It is presently opening below low today. We'll see how it does in 15 minutes, and that's pretty exciting. AMD had a really interesting move yesterday. Look how nicely AMD interacted with the weekly 100 simple. That's why we're drawing these lines, right? The weekly 100 simple, 98.78. We interacted with it very, very beautifully. And if I pop in here to a 3-minute chart, again, this is yesterday on AMD. If I kind of zoom in here, I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing during this time, but I'm going to ask hopefully a little bit of a scary question. If you were looking at this and didn't short AMD yesterday, I mean, please tell me why. You can come up with a good reason. But all right, let's practice it. Type in a 6. Is that a bull candle closing below the red line? Yes or no? All right, type in 2 6s. Is that the first bull candle closing below the 10 EMA? Type in 3 6s. No, maybe not. Type in 3 9s. Okay, if you could have entered short here with a stop loss above the weekly 100 simple moving average, nice and far away, and that particular trade would have made you a really nice move on the downside. Everyone's typing in a bunch of 9s. Fantastic. Type in 3 4s into the chat pane. If you could have made money on the upside on AMD and you could have made money on the downside on AMD, playing both sides, you could have focused just on AMD yesterday and have made tons of capital, tons of income, tons of cash. All these 9s coming in. I love it. Let's take this one candle right here. This one measly, pathetic, perfect. I mean, when you're talking about perfect, ladies and gentlemen, print this chart out, by the way, please. Put it on your wall, study it. It's the perfect setup. There's no setup I've seen in my life better than this one that we're looking at. This 3-minute candle, this one insignificant candle had 405,878 shares traded in that random 3-minute inside bullish candle close below the 10 EMA. 405,000 shares at approximately $97.66. How much money got transacted in that 3-minute time frame? $39,638,045.50 in a random 3 minutes in the market. And you're worried about your $20? Team, come on. Paul says, where is the S curve? I don't quite see it. For the bearish trade? Oh, it's there. It looks like this. There it is. Beautiful trade, beautiful setup. 39 million. Put yourself into a state of abundance. Patrick says, if you're in long and you see that setup, do you close your long and flip short? Yep. In fact, did we do that yesterday? Does anyone remember that exact thing happening yesterday? It did. It happened on Tesla. We were in long, saw the bull setup, bull candle close below 10. We flipped. We got out of our short. Got out of our long and went short. Haley says, how do you determine the entry and the stop loss? Takes a little bit of practice, but the entry is below the low of the bull candle, and the stop loss is the part that takes years of practice. But essentially, you want to place it above a location where you're most likely going to lose less than an R. So your stop loss on this trade, your entry would have been below the low of this candle, and your stop loss would have been somewhere over here. Somewhere in that black circle. You can choose. You can decide. The more you practice and the better you get, the tighter your stop can be, but it would have been somewhere in there. Generally, Haley, the stop loss is simply above prior bear candles if you're shorting, or below prior bull candles if you're going long. So currently, because that's yesterday, what's AMD doing? All right, let's go look at on a 15-minute chart, just kind of look at some support resistance, some Elliott wave. All right, so what I'm going to do is draw the pre-market high, and I'm going to draw the pre-market low. And ironically, pre-market low is occurring right at the daily 100 simple. So you see that line that I have drawn? So there's some support down here. There's some resistance up here. Pretty easy on AMD. Now, the good news is it's not specifically gapping. It's not gapping above the high. It's not gapping below the low. It's not gapping above the open. It's just like a normal, relatively average gap. So I'll take AMD and I'll be a little bit slower on it today than some of us were yesterday. Delta, same thing. It's gapping down, but it's not opening above the high. It's not opening below the low. Nothing overly special about that gap, at least right now. Amazon is kind of interesting. It is a bullish candle yesterday, and we are opening below the open. So there's going to be some bulls that are trapped there, but we're not opening below the low. We'll pop into a 15-minute chart and just use this chart to just draw, again, some support resistance, similar to how we drew it yesterday. So what I'm going to do is just draw some support down here. I'm going to draw the pre-market low right there. And now we have our support level, and we have a little bit of a resistance that we can kind of draw in here. The resistance looks something like that. So what do you guys think? If we can buy Amazon low enough and play with a 10 EMA setup down there, would that make sense? The answer is, of course, yes. You want to buy low. You want to buy at support. So I have the lines drawn. We will see what happens. Excited about it. Let's find out what occurs. All right, that's Amazon. Keep a close eye on that one, since it does appear like it's opening below the open. There will be some momentum there. And last but not least. Okay, good job, Newsome. Almost speaking. Almost. Last but not least, NVIDIA. And again, we can look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA did interact really nicely with some moving averages up here. We did all these lines yesterday, and you'll notice we interacted with the 100 simple on a weekly and the 20 EMA on a weekly. If I pop into a 3-minute chart, the setup on NVIDIA yesterday was so blissfully glorious, so scrumdiddlyumptious. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this bear setup was a thing of beauty. Type in a 4 if you can see the bear trade on NVIDIA. Now, I'm going to point out to everyone who's not typing in a 4, but what I also love is type in a 9 into the chat pane. If you can see the bear trade, that was the very first signal that you would have gotten for 2 hours after market open. This is the very first bull candle that closes below the 10 EMA all day long, up until that point. So up until here, you have nothing other than you're playing bearish trades or nothing. And then when this candle comes in, this is literally the first one. And is it occurring at resistance? Yes, right? These two purple lines, the 100 simple on the weekly and the 20 EMA on a weekly, both right on top of each other. Team, is this easy? It is. Just plan it in advance. Think about it in advance. Get into a repetitional move with this. I can help you make a lot of money in the markets if that's your thing. You can make it to give it all away. You can make it to keep it. You can make it to use it. You can make it to spend it. But I can help you make it with whatever purpose you want to make it with for. Come up with a skill set that you can use for the rest of your life. All right, so that was NVIDIA yesterday. Cool, Newsome. Yesterday doesn't pay us. Well, I don't know. It can. Also, by the way, this wave count wasn't that bad. Yesterday, we came up with the fact that this was a wave 4 and that we're going to be in a wave 5. Did we go higher? Here's the wave count still on the screen. This is the one I did yesterday. Did we go higher? We did. Wave 5 coming up in here. That's kind of cool. So if that is a wave 5, could this be then an A, B, C wave? Woo! Uh-oh, Jeremy's getting crafty. Beautiful. All right, let's draw some support resistance. So we got some lows here. We have some lines here. This is the pre-market low from today. I'm going to draw the pre-market high. And then we're going to go look at 2 or 3 other stocks that are gapping, see if we want to put those on our list. Okay, one stock that is gapping is Pinterest. So Pinterest is gapping, and this one very well could make the list and probably will, because Pinterest is gapping up right now a decent percentage. It is a retest gap, but it's up 19%. This can cause some good momentum, and I want to keep a close eye on it because here's my overall thoughts. I kind of think that Pinterest is going to gap up, eventually trade down a little bit, and then bounce. So it's going to be a fun swing trade, possible investment. one that I could start accumulating again, because I have played Pinterest down at these levels before and won relatively nicely on it. So expecting, to see what happens from here. It's a pretty decent gap. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to trade it with our strategy, but I will watch it and just kind of make comments on it, because it's always good to learn something called fades. Fades is a specific type of gap trade and a style of trading gaps. And I have tons and tons and tons of videos on it, but we will keep a close on it just to see what happens. So I think we'll put that on the list. Someone mentioned Aflac. Crystal says, pins, how do you see the gap up there? How do you see the gap? Is it the current candle or the one 5 minutes? So do you see this orange line, Crystal, that says pre-market? Well, it actually doesn't say pre-market, it just says pre. You see that right there? Also, can you see it down here? Right here. Where it says 18%, it says 2370. There you go. You can literally look at the chart, and the chart will tell you where something is opening before the market even opens. I mean, it's a gift. This stuff it is so dang cool. I agree. Dope. All right. Someone was requesting Aflac. Aflac is a pretty cute gap. It's gapping right into the long-term moving averages. Feel free to use those as a target or a little resistance. Someone was requesting ANET. ANET, nice gap on Arista Networks. This is a retest gap. Expect this one to fade down eventually and trade down into 118, but it is a pretty good gap. I do like it by the dip. JetBlue, Herald. JetBlue is a nice bearish gap and go. Some bulls will be trapped on this one, but it's out of supports. Unfortunately, it's not fully clearing that support. So this is a spot where people bought it in the past. They could buy it again. It is a good gap. People are trapped. If you're fast enough to short it and catch maybe 20 or 30 cents, it's probably the best you're going to get. And then after that, it's going to most likely stabilize and kind of chill out for a little bit. Will wants to look at Apple. Apple gapping down below the open. I mentioned yesterday in the afternoon room that this gap will fill by the end of the month. It might even fill today. It's a strong gap, strong bearish gap. I got a bear call spread on Apple August up here. I got triggered in back here on the 20th of July. Did it over earnings, and I like this gap. So I do expect this gap to fill. It doesn't have to be today, but it could be over the next 3 or 4 days, but it will fill. And might even be today. It's a nice, decent, cute bear gap on Apple. It is pretty hard to short Apple, though, just from a technical standpoint. SPWR, beautiful gap. SunPower Corporation. That's a nice gap and go. Let's put that on the list, Stephen, for this afternoon and for Wednesday. And I will watch that one. That one looks kind of nice. Coors is gapping down on earnings. It was at a really nice resistance, but it's really gapping down into an overall bullish trend. It probably gets bought up, but definitely watch this one, Jay. This is a nice gap. I'll put this on the list for the afternoon today as well. But if we can break here and kind of retest, this is a pretty gnarly gap to be watching for a short. If the setup is right, that could be really nice. I'm going to put that on the list for the afternoon room. Google, Peggy, is gapping down below low of yesterday. A little bit weak. Not crazy weak, but a smidge. Looks like it could go a little bit lower. And then Uber, wow, strong gap up on Uber. A lot of buying candles, really good retest gap. I'm going to put that on the list for the afternoon room as well. It is a retest gap, rock, and I would expect a pretty strong fade, probably down to 26.82. It's going to get interesting out there, folks. Very, very fun to see what happens. But we got our list on our day trades. We got Tesla, Amazon, NVIDIA, Delta, AMD, and Pinterest. These are the ones that we'll keep an eye on today. And if we get a chance to trade one, great. And if not, it's perfectly okay. But I can tell you this, I know the strategy I'm going to be focusing on, and it's certainly not a tough one. So let's see how Tesla opened. Tesla did open below the low of yesterday, so that's good. That is very nice. So if I come over here, what I'm now doing on a 3-minute chart is I'm going to be waiting for a bull candle to close below the 10 EMA on both charts, the chart on the right and the chart on the left. We can get a bull candle to close below both of those. I will look for a potential short. Let me go look at Amazon. So Amazon, let's just see how this gapped really quick. It did open below the open of yesterday. So there's a capability of this having some good speed. We'll keep it on our watch list. We'll see what happens. We'll watch this pretty closely, and we'll see if we get a little bit of a bear candle closing above the 10 EMA on both of those time frames as well. NVIDIA, NVDA, Francisco. Yep, we made that update a few months ago, brother. NVIDIA did open below the open of yesterday, so we have the ability to trade that one pretty actively and aggressively as well if we need to. Delta, let's see how Delta opened. Delta also opened below the open of yesterday, so we have the ability to trade this one pretty aggressively if we need to. All right, AMD, we're watching. Keep a close on AMD. And again, if I take any trades, I will let you all know. And Pinterest. This is just going to be a fun one to watch. So this is the 15-minute chart on the left on Pinterest. And what you can kind of see is some pretty decent support resistance. Here's that little support resistance right there. And you can kind of see something like this. So I'd be keeping my eyes on Pinterest to short after a retest of some kind. We'll be watching this one just to see if we get a really good setup on it. I'll be keeping an eye on it, but it does not look bad. I do think Pinterest is most likely going to drop a little bit. I definitely wouldn't be going long, at least not right now. Give that one a little bit of time. Okay, dokay. So 3 minutes is about to be up. Let's see what happens. So I'm just looking at Tesla, waiting it out. Very nice. Seeing what's happening. Just letting it do its thing. We're waiting for some very specific candles to come in. And we have not gotten those yet. For this particular strategy. By the way, type in a 4 if you think that there's more than one strategy out there in the market. There's a lot. So for newer traders, all I'm trying to do is just get you to focus in on 1 or 2. Just to have that, just so you get it to experience it. And then you can start getting more creative. Sweet. Crystal says, is that a good strategy to play certain strategies over and over in a row to focus and learn and master them? Yep, I think you answered your own question in your question. If you want to master something, you have to do that thing over and over and over. Repetition is the mother of mastery. Yep. Jenna says, which one do you recommend newbies focus on? The 10 EMA. And remember, team, we provide an entire PDF for you, complimentary, on your dashboard, explaining the strategy, giving you all the insights. I have so many videos on this. If you scroll in, go to reallifetrading.com and just pop down here, the 10 EMA strategy. We give all of you access to this complimentary. So focus on that strategy. It's a very easy one. It's really, really, really hard to mess up. And feel free to rewatch these videos that I've been making today, yesterday, tomorrow, because I'll be ingraining these strategies over and over and over. I'm sure all of you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So if you go to reallifetrading.com, you'll see all of the videos that we posted just yesterday, and we're on it right now streaming live. So you can go in and rewatch any of those to make sure that you get your kicks in your analysis. All right. So again, AMD, what are we waiting for? Well, AMD did not specifically have a special gap. It did not open below the open. It didn't open above the high, and it didn't open below the low. So we're going to give AMD some time, really wait this one out to see if it does something intriguing. Since we have both charts up, we're going to wait for a bear candle to close above the 10 EMA on both charts, or a bull candle to close below on both charts. It's going to take a while. So we'll kind of keep giving it some time and just waiting it out. Tesla, waiting for a bull candle to close below on both charts, or a bear candle to close above on both charts. Sounds like someone is sawing off the arm of my child. I'm sure my wife is doing just that. Listening to the screams, that's the way it sounds. She has a saw. All right, Delta. Let me pop in here on the daily chart really quick. So Delta, Peter, Greg says, I think we employ the same child rearing strategies. That's right. Yeah, man. This is a nice little trade setup on Delta. All right. So this is a 3-minute candle. And if I pop over here to the 3-minute chart, it's on the right side. We're working on getting a bull candle that is working on closing below both of those time frames. So we would short it below. We'd have a stop above, and we would go for 1.2. So that looks like, again, being as fast as I can on the microphone, 29.29. So we could short at 27 with a stop loss at 77. That gives 50 cents of risk. Dell doesn't qualify yet. True, this candle does have to close, but you did on the daily chart have a open below the open of yesterday, so we are able to trade it early if we need to. This candle does need to close on a 3-minute chart, so we have 40 seconds to see. But if it closes like this, this will be a setup that I will play on Delta. 31.27 by 31.77, 50 cents of risk. Very easy to calculate your risk. Pretty amped about it. All right. Harry says, what's the difference between the two charts? So this one on the left, Harry, includes the extended hours data. And over here on the right, you'll see that it does not. That's really it. There's not a huge, massive difference. In fact, I actually turn off the extended hours after about an hour and a half or 2 in the market. Preston says, is it a bull day? I don't know, maybe. Day trade on Delta. All right, I posted that in the chat pane. Let me open it in Slack. Okay. All right, so we are getting that set up to short. Now, again, that doesn't have to trigger, and it might not. And if it doesn't trigger, we don't lose. That's the good news. But what I can say is it fits the plan, and that is the goal, is to come up with something that fits our plan, and know exactly why we're taking it. And if we can have that and repeat that process over and over and over, repetition is the mother of mastery. So come back over to Pinterest. We're going to keep a close eye on this one just to see if there's anything interesting. I don't know if we're going to trade it or not, but we'll find out. The Qs kind of doing a little bit about what they're doing yesterday, a little bit. Now, what's very interesting about the SPY is if this candle closes like this in the next 2 minutes or so, it will be a bull candle closing below the 10 EMA on both time frames. So we'll see if it breaks lower or not. I don't know. Doesn't have to, but we'll find out. Tesla still kind of just chopping around, doing its thing. Nothing too wild or crazy. Dale says, "What's up, Mr. Newsome? What is up, Rockstar? Hope you're doing great." Amazon is slowly going higher, bouncing off some support, waiting for a little bit of a bear candle to close above that 10 EMA on both time frames. And really, all I'm doing right now is just cycling between the stocks that we have open. That's it. Delta, we still have Delta open and available. And what's really intriguing, if this candle closes like this, is we might actually be able to increase this entry some. Kristen says, for your Delta, what orders are you putting in? Stop limit. Yep. In fact, I try my absolute best to make it super easy and apparent what type of order we'll be playing on it. But yep. Stop limit, bearish, looking to get in if it goes below 31.27. Justin says, if Delta is to break above where we have the stop set, would we cancel the order? I guess you have to wait and find out. The answer is yes, though. Enrico says, I made 1.5 hours on Tesla bouncing on the 200 yesterday, thanks to you. It wasn't thanks to me, man. You pulled the trigger. Congratulations for being a badass, my guy. Well done. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, are we triggered into Delta yet? Yes or no? No, we are not, right? We are waiting for it to go lower. We have the order set up that if it breaks support, right? If it breaks support, then we will get in. And if not, we won't. So we'll see what it does. We give it some time, letting it hang out, letting it do its thing. We're going to scoot that up to the top of the watch list just so we'll have it. Tesla kind of bouncing, doing its thing. Notice, by the way, how nicely these are bouncing off these red lines. Do you remember what these red lines were? I mean, just so that we're aware, does anyone remember what these guys are? Francisco says pre-market. Pre-market what? Pre-market support. Yeah, that's right. Again, I didn't take this trade by myself, sitting on my couch, maybe. But could you have at least known to either A, buy there, or B, not sell short there since it's at support? Because really that's all you're looking for oftentimes is just what not to do based on where you're at in the market. And now we're trading into a resistance, aka the pre-market high. Good to know. Good to know. All right. So we're chilling here on Delta. Just going to see what it's going to do. Hanging out, letting it chill. What did that chart look like that I posted in Slack? Okay, we can see both. All right, great. Santi says, I'm making every quarter on Tesla. $3,000 on put sales. Beautiful job, my man. Beautiful job. Money is abundant in the markets. That is an absolute fact. Now, Amazon here on the daily chart did open below the open of actually 2 candles. So there is some general momentum on Amazon. And if this candle closes like this, I'm actually okay. And I'm certainly allowed to take a breakout. That would be a bullish stop limit. Did it close above? It did. All right, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to have 2 setups, one bullish and one bearish. Let's do one. Target will be up here somewhere. Okay. So 136.17 by 134.67 will be the setup. We're looking to get in on a stop limit on Amazon. Or if it is above our entry, it'll be a limit buy, but you all know that. Day trade on Amazon. So we're looking to get in. I haven't got traded yet, so we'll go ahead and start setting it up. If the price of Amazon, this is a tricky one, but this is a good learning experience. If the price of Amazon by the time you submit your order is above 136.17, you have to do a limit buy. Can't do a stop limit. So it has to be a limit buy if it's above when you're submitting it. And if it's below, then you can do a stop limit. I'm just going to do a limit buy because it's easier and we might get filled at a better price. Okay. So there's Amazon setting that bad boy up, 136.17 by 134.61. Pop this in here really quick. All right, so we're going to have a potential delta short, which again, you can see it has not triggered yet. Potential delta short that has not triggered, and an Amazon long. The target is on Amazon going to be very close to the high of the day of yesterday, and the pre-market is about 138, give or take. That's going to be the target right around here. 138.04. Right around there would be it. Does everyone understand at least why we're choosing this particular price? Do you notice how it's above that bear candle? It closed above the 10 EMA on both time frames. Type in a 5 if you at least see that. Because again, if you don't do this trade, it's okay. If you're learning, that's the key. Are you learning why? Are you understanding why? We're getting a lot of 5s. That's beautiful. All right, coming back to Delta. So again, just for reiteration purposes, are we triggered into Delta short? Yes or no? No, right? So we are waiting. We're waiting. We have the order in the broker. We're waiting. And like I mentioned, and like someone asked earlier, if it just starts ripping higher, we'll just cancel the order and move on. No big deal. Pinterest. So again, I know it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to play Pinterest with this exact strategy because of the size of the gap. But type a 9 into the chat pane if you can see a bull candle closing below the 10 EMA inside candle on the extended hours chart. It's not doing it on the non-extended, but it is doing on the extended hours. When I play fades, I use extended hours charts exclusively. And your short would have been somewhere right around there, stop loss, somewhere right around there, and you're already at 1R. But again, the practice of this, the key is you would have known not to go long, at least not yet. I would like to think, based on the analysis and based on the style of gap and based on if maybe I helped you just realize, understand that you don't want to go long here. You want to go long. If you're going to go long lower. It is a retest gap. So if you're going to go bullish, you're going to go bullish somewhere down there. All right, Delta, we're still waiting for. Amazon, we are filled on. So we got filled on a pullback. Come over here. I will say filled on Amazon. So today is the 2nd. $136.17. Because once we're in the trade, we don't have anything else to do. So we can fill out this worksheet. 134.61. Okay, it's a 10 EMA play. Got filled 136.17. And now we wait. Target 138. Maybe it hits, maybe not. I don't know, but that is the setup. We'll scoot that up to the top. Delta, we still have not gotten triggered in yet. We're still not losing, and we might just cancel that trade, and that's okay. Tesla breaking out a pre-market high, looking like a potential little bear candle here. Okay, so Tesla looking kind of nice. This would be a bear candle closing above the 10 as well. There's one tiny challenge with this particular trade, though. Do you guys know what it is? I'll give you a hint. You got to look at the right side chart. Crystal says, are you figuring the target based on 1.2 hours on Amazon? Yes, of course. You nailed it. All right. Wes says, watch your video on how to trade fades from a couple of years ago. Great stuff. Thanks, man. So yeah, again, I don't mind having Tesla set up. It's just the 200 simple is going to be a little bit of resistance. So you're going to want to make sure that you know how to trade partials and all that kind of good stuff. It'll be fun. All right. Delta, I'll leave open for just a little bit longer. And Tesla, what I will simply say is if you're an advanced trader, if you know what you're doing, if you're comfortable with partials, right? 200, you're going to want to exit something there. Let's go look at the daily chart and just make sure that's still where it's at. 200, yeah, 9, 10, 23. So I mean, it's pretty much right there. 9, 10, 23. All right. So this will be, again, for just my more advanced traders. If you're new and you want to take this trade, experiment with it. Sure. Okay. This is, again, you're going to want to be exiting a partial up here at that 200 simple. It is a fun challenge to type, talk, text, and trade. So let's just do 909. Sure. 26. And we would exit 1/10 right there. So if you're buying 100 shares, that'd be 10 shares. Okay, Amazon. So let's go ahead and plan on what we do not want Amazon to do. I don't personally think it would be a super bullish thing if we close below that candle. Could the same thing happen today as happened on yesterday? Absolutely. Sure could. And keep an eye on for that. Don't want that to happen. Delta, we're going to leave open for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and plan on a potential better entry. I know Dan Jansen's going to be taking over in just a minute or two, but if Delta breaks lower without triggering us in, what we could consider is shorting the retest here with a stop up there, just to give us about the same risk reward, but a better entry. So this is just a plan. It's just like a maybe. Not something that has to happen. It's just like we'll see. We will see. All right, Tesla still consolidating. You can kind of see it on the left is the extended hours chart. Makes sense that it would retest that level. So that's going to be kind of cool to see what it does there. NVIDIA did open below the open of yesterday. Pinterest, again, if you're going to go long, just wait a little bit. The Qs gap down, trade up into a little bit of resistance, getting a little bit of selling pressure. So again, we know what we don't want to see on Amazon's. We don't want to see a close below here. So we're planning in advance. We're planning in advance what we do not want it to do, because it can happen. And if the market is going to do exactly what it did yesterday, because it is and has been proving a challenge to go bullish as we get higher, that's okay. Get out, lose small, then look to get in bearish. It's an everyday thing. Every single day. All the days. Now, the good news, if you set up Tesla, would you have been filled yet bullish? Yes or no? Again, just to practice this strategy. The answer is no. Amazon, okay. AMC. Let's see. Someone's asking about AMC. AMC getting a little bit of a move. Francisco says, with this strategy, when do you generally move your stop? Great question, Francisco. It is in the PDF. All you have to do is go download it, and I'll tell you exactly how many times to move the stop and by when. You'll really like it. It's free, by the way, man. Just go get it. It doesn't cost you anything. Pop in, get it. I give you a play-by-play, step-by-step blueprint. Yeah, brother. Andy says, how many trades you take a week on average? About 6. All right. So popping over to Delta. This is very interesting because Delta is about to get a bull candle closing below, giving us a potential opportunity to short higher. So the question is, do I want to short higher? And I kind of do. All right. So what this does is it gives us a higher bearish entry and a higher stop and a little bit of a better risk reward ratio. $31.41 by $31.88. Smaller stop, more shares, higher entry, higher stop. I like it. Update on Delta day trade. Put that here. Update on Delta day trade. So again, just looking to short it if it goes below 31.41, which is below the low of this bull candle that just came and closed below the 10. It's also below the low of this bull candle. It's also below support. It gives us a chance to short higher than the exact low of the day. It gives us a chance to put our stop higher. And actually, based on the entry, our stop loss is less than 50 cents as it was last time. Gives us more shares, higher entry, higher stop. I like that. That's kind of what I like to look for. All right, Amazon trying to recover a little bit. See if that can bounce off and do anything delicious. Tesla kind of chilling a little bit. NVIDIA hanging out. AMD still hanging out. Hasn't gotten a candle yet. Pinterest just chilling. Q's kind of chilling. And SPY also hanging out. Eddie says, where can you get the Excel that you fill out? Eddie, everything is here on your free RLT dashboard, my good man. We have a official trade journal for everyone who subscribes that you can watch and access and look at exactly what we're trading. And you also have a sample trade journal that you can use to fill out your own Excel sheet, all for free. How cool is that, Eddie? I think that's pretty dope. Ladies and gentlemen, our boy Dan Jansen is a master at day trading. This is what he does for a full-time career. We have a target at 138.04 on Amazon. And he will help you guys move your stops accordingly. Thank you for hanging out with me for the last hour. Type in a 5 in that chat pane if you found this helpful, beneficial, and enriching. That is, of course, my goal. And if anyone here is interested in the market, I'm assuming all of you are because, well, you're here. Please continue to be a part of RLT. We are a family. We are a movement. We have a mission, and we want to enrich lives together. And I need you, not only in my life, but in our lives, to continue enriching lives all across the world. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all being here. Danny boy.
What is happening? Oof.
My man.
Crazy analysis in the morning. I like it.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. Market's kind of just chopping out of the gate.